The Toronto Blue Jays hope Corey Lytle can continue his success on the road, seeking his 7th win in as many starts, while Jason Simo Man tries to capitalize on his complete game victory Wednesday. Can the Cards stay in alignment? Interleague play continues next on Fox Sports Net. Last night, the Cardinals held Carlos Delgado in check. Matt Morris picked up his 7th win of the season, and tonight, the fans file into Busch Stadium for Game 2 of this 3-game set. Interleague play is here, and it's the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. And welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck along with Al Roboski. Now, Al, last night the Cardinals come up with their 11-5 victory. And I think when you look at the way they won the game, it's really the blueprint for what we thought would happen more consistently coming out of spring training. The Cardinals did everything right, and it started with that very good defense.
That's right. You got 4 Gold Glovers. You got 6 potential Gold Glovers. So why not take advantage of them? And that's what Matt Morris did. Great play here by Renteria, really at both ends with Cairo. Always you're going to see Scott Rowland do his job. Another tremendous play to end the game last night.
Cardinals got their offense. Jim Edmonds trying to get back in the swing of things. Rowland is there, hitting over 300 now. Edgar Renteria with an RBI triple in last night's game. The key was Tino Martinez coming up in 3 different at-bats with RBIs. And then there's the big guy on the mound, Matt Morris, who racked up win number 7 on the season. He ended up giving the Cardinals 7 strong innings, was not terrific last night, but still good enough to win the game. He deserved the victory, and he got it.
Yes, he did. And, of course, you bang out 14 hits, you get those 11 runs, you get a well-pitched game from your starter, everything falls into place.
Sounds good. Jason Simo Man hoping to continue that tonight, as are the Cardinals around him, with that defense, with the offense. But it's Simo Man coming off his first ever complete game victory in the big leagues. What does he have in store for the Blue Jays tonight? We'll find out. More in a moment.
Big crowd here tonight. We get the chance to visit with Cardinals manager Tony La Russa. And first and foremost, your thoughts on what everybody's talking about around Major League Baseball. Sammy Sosa, what did you think?
Well, I think it's what it is, and I believe what Sammy says, and I don't believe that his home run exploits were a part of that. So until proven different, I would believe Sammy.
So you don't believe that this tarnishes the 500-plus home runs that he's hit?
I believe that people don't feel the same about him today as they did before that. I mean, I'm sure there'll be questions raised, and there's a taint, and he's got to live with it. But you're asking my opinion. My opinion is it is what he said. He made a mistake and picked out a batting practice bat.
You get the impression a lot of guys would do that, use the corks around Major League Baseball for the exhibitions of batting practice or maybe home run derbies, those kind of things?
Nah, I don't know. I mean, maybe a home run derby, but for batting practice, I don't think so. I think there was a period of time where cork bats were kind of flagrant, but Dunk still thinks it is. I don't see the ball doing as often as it used to be, but I think a lot about it is having an edge, and if somebody has an edge and somebody else I got to compete with them. It's like enhancements, So I think the more severe the consequences are, the more the players will get scared and play it straight.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Manager Tony La Russa, Cardinal Baseball, is coming up here from Busch.
Jason Simo Man is walking in from the Cardinals bullpen, so we'll be a bit delayed here at the start of the evening, and that means that it's show and tell time for Al Roboski. Little Al, what have you brought to show the class here tonight?
Well, Little Al has brought along an X-Bat. This looks like the same type of model that Sammy Sosa was charged with. The interesting thing here is you can see the cut bat. Now, the reason players start going to the cut bats is because it takes a couple ounces off of the weight of the bat, and it's out on the sweet part of the bat. But normally you would never cork one of these, because if you hit a ball out here, it's going to splinter this way. And that's what's happened. If you break the bat here, you would never know it was corked. What was unusual is, and what they do is they normally drill inside here, go down 6 to 10 inches, you'll fill it with a cork, or you'll fill it with ground up super balls, some type of a rubber agent, And then it's very careful. You take all those grounds that you took out of the top of it, all the filling, you mix that with some glue, stuff it back in there for part of your cap, and then you can kind of do a little doctoring to make sure it has the same groove look and everything looks the same. So basically what we're talking about is if you took a bat like this, you would see a hole in the top, and you'd come down to about here, all filled full of cork. And it lightens the bat up to the point where you can get the extra whip and torque. And also there's a lot of people believe that the center of a baseball, which we all think that these balls are much more lively today, is because they take that same cork or that same center of a baseball that projects it out is what they're also filling a bat with. Now the best one was Greg Nettles. He used super balls in one game, hit a ball, and the top of it came out, and the super balls went flying out of it. Kind of hard to deny that one.
Yeah, there's really not much you can say after something like that happens. You look at this bat, and this is, I think, first of all, outstanding demonstration. That was great, and I think you explained it very well. It's almost like you played with some guys who corked bats.
I'm sure I did. I'm sure I had some guys with cork bats against me, but you know, it's not illegal until you're caught.
Yeah, well, I think if you look at the different explanations, and I like the way Tony La Russa put it. I think that's the safe answer. The safe answer is I'll go with what Sammy says until proven otherwise. I find it hard to believe, and maybe people disagree with me 100%, find it hard to believe, Al, that this was the one time that he mistakenly grabbed the wrong bat, and it just so happened that it broke during a ball game, and he was found to have cork in the bat, and it was the wrong bat. It was the batting practice bat. Talking about a guy who's been struggling, who's been booed at home, who hasn't been hitting home runs, probably looking to get a little shot in the arm and get his offense up and going, and he got caught speeding. It popped open. They saw the cork, and now he's going to have to field and deal with the consequences.
Absolutely, and of course there's other controversies surrounding Sosa, and I would say supplemental, whether it's creatine or androstenedione or even steroid use. All of a sudden, all these aspects of his game come into some degree of questioning.
Let's take a look at the lineup for tonight's game for the Toronto Blue Jays. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Same basic look with an exception. Reed Johnson at the top, then it's Catalinato. He has been a hot hitter for these Blue Jays. Vernon Wells, Carlos Delgado, Greg Myers, Orlando Hudson, Mike Bordick we saw for one at bat last night, Chris Woodward, and Corey Lytle, an 8-game winner pitching and batting night. Around the Horn brought to you by Auto Tire. The Cardinals will have Tino Martinez, who had a nice night last night at first. Miguel Cairo, another night, another start. Scott Rowland across the way at third. Edgar Renteria is the shortstop. Out in the outfield is Albert Pujols in left. Jim Edmonds again in center. And because he's faced Lytle before, Orlando Palmeiro is in right. Drew does not start back-to-back games in this series. Mike Matheny does the catching, a former Blue Jay. Our chief starter for the Cardinals is Jason Simon Tachi.
His 11th start of the season, one complete game. That's what he's coming off of against Houston, his first complete game of his career. He's gotten a lot of run support this year, but I think everybody is hoping he can build off of that last start. There it is. First complete game. He wins 3-1. 6 hits allowed, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, 1 home run. The only run was on a solo shot.
So Simon Tachi will deal with Reed Johnson here to start it. Catalinato batting second, then Vernon Wells. Top 3 in the lineup for Toronto. Blue Jays still only 2 games out as the Yankees lost last night in Cincinnati. And as we look at the scoreboard, they are underway already, and the Yankees lead 2-0. They're in the middle innings at Great American Ballpark. The 1-0 pitch, 2 balls, no strikes. Cardinals made a deal just moments ago. Picked up a backup infielder, Bill Selby, who the Cardinals have seen with Cleveland, also seen with Cincinnati. And Selby was acquired. The Cardinals traded a minor leaguer to get him. That's on the inside corner. 2 balls and a strike. So Selby will be arriving at some point, either tonight or tomorrow, and he will be there for bench support for Tony La Russa's team. On 2-1, Reed Johnson. That was a pretty good pitch. Change of pace, down and away, and the count's 2-2.
Here he's falling behind 2-0. Then he comes back and throws 2 strikes, but Jason has to work ahead in the count.
Good comeback by Simon Tachi. Fell behind 2-0, then 3 straight strikes, 1 down.
Got to use all of his pitches, both sides of the plate. Took something off there and gets the strikeout. Don't want him to fall in love with the strikeouts, but you want him to utilize that good defense. Keep the ball in the ballpark, don't walk anybody, and you can win with this defense and offense behind you.
When you were giving your excellent demonstration about how to cork a bat, we got the announcement that the Cardinals had acquired Selby, and from what we understand now, he will head to Memphis. So he will not be an immediate addition, but somebody like Bill Selby, if he's acquired and they bother to go out and get him, they didn't go out and get him to reinforce the Memphis Redbirds. 1 ball, 1 strike on Catalanato.
I agree with you, Joe, and it seems to be that could be an upgrade in the bench from the infield standpoint.
1-2 on Catalanato.
The only thing is, can he play shortstop?
Well, I don't know, Al. This is something I don't know. I believe he has.
And I know he played second and third.
On 1-2, pitch was up, and Catalanato, boy, he is a machine. Went up, ripped it into right, 1 on, 1 out, and Vernon Wells will walk to the plate.
Had a couple hits last night, and it's like he looks for fastballs, and any place they are delivered, he can get on top of. So ball up out of the zone, but he jumps on it, and Toronto has their first hit of the evening.
The Catalanato and Tino Martinez talk as Vernon Wells was impressive last night with a couple of hits. 55 RBIs. That's more than any of the Cardinals have to this point in the season, but not as many as the guy behind him, Delgado, has. 0-1.
First and second in the American League. 55 and 57 RBIs. And they're missing one of their big guns, too, in Shannon Stewart.
He is sidelined with a sore hamstring. Here's an 0-1. Right down the middle, right over the top with a fastball. 0-2. Looked like Wells was looking for something else. 73 degrees at the ballpark tonight. And all of the talk around this ballpark prior to the game was about Sosa. And I'm sure that happened across baseball. And in your office this morning. Good work by Simon Tachi to get Wells on 3 pitches. And Al, it's early, very early. But Simon Tachi against Wells did exactly what he did in the complete game victory against Houston, and that is he came right after the hitter.
Yeah, aggressive, get ahead in the count, use your pitches, try and keep them from being in the middle of the plate. Just much easier when you're pitching when you're being aggressive rather than being defensive and falling behind in the count.
Huge numbers for a guy who right now is at the top of most people's lists. As far as MVP races, he would be the guy in the AL. That missed outside, ball 1. Understand, Al, that they have taken over 70 bats, 76 bats confiscated from Sammy Sosa. All have been examined, and all have been declared cork-free. There's a good breaking ball in for strike 1.
You know, I was talking with Red Shaney. I said, Red, you ever cork a bat? You ever play with anybody? He goes, I said, Al, we were lucky if we had a dozen bats among all of us. And here Sosa took, what, 76?
76 bats they took, and I'm sure that's only scratching the surface. What's he going to hit with? 1 ball, 1 strike. Another good fastball, and Delgado wasn't ready for it. Strike 2.
Now you see he's got movement on that pitch, and that's what it's all about. Location, better have some tailing or running action. Delgado, 278 career home runs. 171 career RBIs, most in their franchise.
Should play. Long run. Renteria, the only one to get there. Boy, did he have to go a long way to get it. And Albert Pujols was more than happy to see his shortstop go out into left field to make this play. Good play, Renteria, after a half inning, no score. Stairline starting lineup for the Cardinals. It'll be Cairo, Palmeiro batting in the number 2 spot. Then the typical look to the Cardinal lineup with Pujols, Edmonds, Rolen, Renteria, another big night last night. Tino Martinez had to smile as he left the park last evening. Matheny and then Simon Tachi. Around the Horn brought to you by Auto Tire. Delgado is at first. Orlando Hudson at second. Across the way it's Bordick at third. Chris Woodward is the shortstop, and out in the outfield, Catalanato, Vernon Wells in center, and Reed Johnson in right. Greg Myers, veteran catcher, and Corey Lytle, the other Jeep starter for us tonight, former Met and Oakland A.
Well, you can see that 8-3 record, first in the American League to get to 8, 6-0 on the road. He doesn't walk many and keeps the ball in the ballpark.
Be fair to say similar style pitchers going tonight head to head. Lytle's not going to blow you away with stuff. 7 road victories for Lytle and 7 tries as he finds the strike zone.
Corey around the plate only has allowed 3 home runs. Kind of side saddle in his delivery.
Throw seed down before the game.
Well, there's Blue Jays and Cardinals and Doves all over this field.
2 balls and a strike. Cairo tied up 2-2.
Location's big to Corey. He has a twin brother that's in the Detroit organization, converted catcher. So he had somebody to play with, catch with, didn't he?
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Saw some pretty good swings last night by Cairo. He ended up hitless, did get a sac fly for an RBI, and Miguel was in battle mode last night against Escobar early, and I thought had a good night at the plate despite going hitless.
Yeah, he 0 for his last 18, and you know, this is what happens with a bench player who's very good in that role, but when you start playing every day, they'll play good for 5 days, and I think that's another reason why this Selby trade was made.
On 2-2, 3-2 as Myers tried to do all he could to get that body in front of that pitch. Full count. My bad.
Me bad.
My bad.
Is it me or mine?
Either way. Probably my, but whatever.
Let's see, me or mine?
My bad. Full count, Cairo. Nice start. Joe Miguel is on, and Orlando Palmeiro will walk in.
Well, you go up there and you battle, and he told me yesterday he needed the day off. Felt real good. You said swinging the bat well, but didn't get anything to hit, any payoff from it other than I think he had an RBI.
He did.
But here he starts out things in the right direction with that base hit.
Ending an 0 for 18 skid as Orlando Palmeiro stands in. Corey Lytle working from the stretch. Cairo is running, hit and run right out of the chute, and that's out of play. Why not press the issue, see what Myers can do behind the plate as well.
Tony, pretty good idea about these guys, and Oquendo receiving signs from Tony, flashing them down to base runner Cairo, also Palmeiro, who is 7 for 22. And remember, we talk about a pitcher that is always around the strike zone.
Big difference from last night with Escobar. Cardinals were limited with what they could do. Squeeze play wise early in the game. Hit and run because you didn't know if Escobar was able to get the ball over the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Escobar out for the first 4 innings looked like he was going to be untouchable, and then the 5th inning on, he didn't have anything.
Talked to Mike Matheny about him. He said he just has filthy stuff.
We saw a lot of that last night with a high 90s fastball, a great forkball, as they try to convert Escobar from closer to starter. Now Lytle with a 1 ball, 1 strike count. The bunt is perfect. Going to take a good play. Nobody covering. Base hit. Orlando Hudson late getting over, and it's 2 on with nobody out, and Pujols coming up. It is a base hit.
Well, I was watching the bunt and the left side of the infield, and as you're right, Hudson drops a bunt down perfect. Lytle jumps out there and pounces, but his third baseman calls him off, but there he had to double clutch because his second baseman was not there. Doesn't get there in time, so he went to throw, and he couldn't do it because the second baseman covering first wasn't there. You see the shortstop pointing to one of them to get over and cover third for the lead runner. So right away, the Cardinals will find themselves in a good position here with 2 hits to start the game off.
Carlos Tosca watching that. Good awareness by Bordick to not throw the ball with nobody standing at first. That's off the hands, and that won't do anything. Johnson makes the catch, tagging and advancing to third. It did do something, and that is Cairo advances 90 feet. So even the outs are productive outs, but not what Pujols had in mind as he dives back into the dugout. Go back to the bunt, Al.
Yeah, let's watch the shortstop and second baseman. You see Hudson. Well, really a little bit of a hesitation there, but he got over there, but hustling play, and it cost him because that was an out right there.
Congratulations to Rosie Altman, tonight's contestant, the True Value Pick and Predict sweepstakes. Rosie Altman has already won a $25 gift certificate to Tony's True Value in Albers, Illinois. They're going to appeal now and see if Albert left too soon, which gives me a chance, Al. He is saved. If Jim Edmonds hits for the cycle, Rosie Altman will win $100,000. For details and to enter, visit your local True Value hardware store.
Jim Edmonds again out early batting practice, trying to get things squared away. Did hit a 2-run home run last night.
Edmonds trying to put the Cards on top. Takes ball 1. Lead runner is Cairo. Had a good at bat. Got on with a hit. Then the bunt base hit by Orlando Palmeiro. Cairo good base running to tag and advance, and the fly ball to right by Albert Pujols. And that leaves Edmonds with a chance. Jim homered here last night. 2-0 with Roland next. Last night, here's what it looked like. A hanger, and that got out of the park.
Paint scraper.
Look at this. Just over the wall and over the outstretched glove of Reed Johnson and right. And then me and my shadow walked home.
All the way from first base, really.
Edmonds was busy watching the ball and didn't realize that Pujols was tagging at first base and nearly passed him. 2 balls and a strike on Edmonds.
Lytle has a splitter that he throws to the left-handers. And he also has 2 fastballs. One that will start inside, then tail back to the inside part of the corner, the inside part of the plate for a strike. Another one that just stays inside off the plate.
We can already see that Lytle is in the category of deliberate, which is broadcaster speak for slow. 4 out of 9 times he's produced in this spot. 32 RBIs on the season. That's a base hit. The Cardinals take the lead. Palmeiro will hold at second. Base hit by Edmonds. 1-0 St. Louis.
That's what you need to do. Come out here, go on an attack, get a lead, and don't stop. But Jim Edmonds saw an off-speed pitch, and his hands are so good that he just strokes that ball, lifts it right over there into the outfield grass, solid single, and the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead and already 3 base hits. Had 14 last night.
Rolling now up over 300, 303. Last night 3 hits. Club leader with his 45 RBIs. Pujols right behind him, and he gets a good rip. Last 9 games absolutely on fire.
You know, he might have a game or 2 here, but for the most part, he never is too far out of sync. And always wants in that lineup, because even if he's not hitting, he knows he can save a game with his glove.
With his glove, with his base running, if he gets on base.
Good point.
Just with his presence on the field, you want him out there.
Comes to play. Leads by example.
Making a ton of money. And as a professional, he's everything you would want in a big league ball player. 2 on, 1 out, no balls, 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Email from Dolly Lindsay of Centralia, Illinois. The first time I ever heard that expression was when Albert Pujols said it after a bad play, talking about my bad. I thought it was poor English, but since then I've heard it several times. She even says it herself once in a while, she says. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lytle. Left side, good play by Bordick. Couldn't get it out of his glove, and they still turn a double play. 5-4-3 to end the threat. Good pickup by Bordick. Little double pump right there, but still the double play. 1-0 after 1. Cardinals after 1. Father's Day is coming up. You can give Dad what he really wants, a subscription to Cardinals Game Day magazine. Sign up now, and Dad will be set to receive the upcoming issue featuring Scott Rowland. Subscribe, call 314-982-7336. Dave in Chesterfield, Al says, back in 1985, when your dad made his famous call, Smith corks one down the line into right, he didn't mean ...
Yeah. Good one.
Absolutely not. We're not pinning that on the Wizards. Here's Greg Myers to lead off for Toronto. Tino went too far. Simon Pachi has time. 1 out. 4-1 on the putout. Let's give him, Al, our virtual manager question. You can vote now at foxsports.com. Keyword virtual manager. The question is, should Major League Baseball continue with interleague play? Mark me down as a yes.
Mark me down, whatever the fans want.
Oh, boo.
I don't like it then.
Do you like it or not?
No, I do not.
You do not. 1 out, nobody on. Hudson takes a strike.
For every good series, there's 2 bad ones.
All right, let's go down the list.
How about, well, I mean,
Base hit. I like this Hudson.
I like their offense. You can see why they're leading the American League in runs scored and swinging better than 290 batting average as a team. These guys swing the bat.
So 1 on, 1 out, and Bordick will step in after this.
Takes that delivery down low, rifles it into right field.
Bordick, a double play candidate, hitting .266, a home run, 19 RBIs.
Samitachi, very quick feet, very difficult to steal against him. And with this combination of Samitachi and Mike Matheny, you're almost doing the Cardinals a favor by attempting to steal.
One ball, one strike. Rather, one ball, no strike. Question about the draft. A guy named Greg Maddox in Petersburg, Illinois. Do you think the Cardinals got what they needed going into the draft? Who knows?
Unlike football or basketball,
it is just so unknown what you're getting and who you're going to be able to sign and what guys are going to do and how they're going to develop.
You know, it's just you don't know for 3 or 4 years, and then you may not know for another year or two. Cardinals have used their minor league system in a very unique way.
Now a 1-1 pitch to Bordick. That's into right. Should play for Palmeiro. Nice play, 2 out. It was a fair ball when it came down.
Cardinals have used a lot of their minor league talent to acquire big league talent. Yeah, his approach was a little offline. He came in and then had to go slightly back and to his left, but obviously started feeling for the wall as he's getting close to the fence there, but makes a nice play.
Now it's the number 8 hitter Woodward. Hudson draws a throw. Now we're going to start getting emails about interleague play. To me, this is, and I know we talked about this last night, the most exciting 2-week stretch of the regular season. As a strike tails over the inside corner. I know what you're saying about other cities and other teams across baseball, but most of the time, for those teams, any matchup isn't that great. I mean, who's Milwaukee going to play that's fun to watch?
They get beat down in either way. But, yeah, I mean, I like it better now that we're switching leagues more frequently or divisions more frequently. They got a little stale, I think, the first 4 years being in the Central Division every year.
Detroit and San Diego, how can you not like that?
Oh,
1984
yeah.
revisited.
Now
the George Orwell series.
Trammell likes it.
Yeah. Trammell was with San Diego. Now he's the manager of the high-flying Tigers.
Dimitri Young gets to see his brother, another millionaire.
He went to the Tampa Bay Devil.
Tampa Bay, number 1 pick in the country.
On 1-1. That's back toward us. Right under the booth. 1-2 on Woodward. With a pitcher Lytle on deck as Simon Tachi has a 1-run lead. Stephen Jackson of Port Orange, Florida, wants to see the NL rules in the AL parks and the AL rules in the NL parks.
See, I mean, I think that would make it interesting.
See a DH here in St. Louis?
Well, yeah, I mean, give the fans an opportunity to see what transpires in the other league. I mean, really, if you're going to do it, I think that is an interesting scenario, and I've heard it proposed more times. You can always find a DH on your bench. Eduardo Perez, maybe even JD, because you wouldn't have to take pressure running all the time.
That's on the infield. Scott Rowland waits for it. Matt in Kirksville says, I think Sammy is innocent. I mean, where would he have access to enough cork to fill a bat? It isn't like there have been many clubhouse celebrations around Chicago lately. Thataway, Matt. Come on, people. Send him in. 1-0. Bottom of the second. The Cardinals on top. 3 hits in the first. Renteria first up. Our 4 dealers key matchup. Highest batting averages in home games in the National League. Pujols is 1. Renteria is 2. See what Edgar does to start it. Then Martinez, then Mike Matheny, who was a Blue Jay back in 1999. Ball 1 to Edgar. Renteria 6 home runs, 40 RBIs.
of those 40 RBIs, 23 of them have come with 2 outs.
Three and 0. Edgar Renteria should be an all-star, and hopefully that person is picking Renteria right now.
I think Scott Rowland and Edgar are leading in the most recent polling. Albert Pujols is 4th, and Edmonds, I think, is 6th.
On 3-1, Renteria. The count in his favor, tries to drop down a bunt. Full count.
Mitchell Page looking on. Gives these guys a scouting report every day. I think in many ways, and one of the reasons why the Cardinals strike out so infrequent now is a lot of times it'll tell them the first strike or first fastball they see for strike, swing it.
Lytle comes back from a 3-0 count to get the leadoff man, Renteria, as Woodward takes care of Edgar. 1 out. That'll bring in Tino Martinez. Martinez was, I noticed, a little bit lighter, Tino Martinez, in the clubhouse before the game. It's amazing what one good night will do for somebody's mood, approach, confidence. And last night, hopefully, we'll get Tino started.
Well, he's hit safely in 6 of his last 7 games. Just under 300 with 3 doubles. 5 of his last 9 hits have gone for extra bases, 3 doubles, and a pair of home runs.
1 ball, no strikes, and a chopper to Woodward, who backs up and low and out. Woodward is not too happy with that throw. He backed up on the play, didn't have much going behind him when he unleashed the throw, and it took a good dig from Delgado on the other end to get the out.
Yeah, he really need a little more effort than this. He backs up there and then kind of slings the ball. It's not going to be a true arc, and there's what you're talking about. He had plenty of time to set himself and then throw over the top.
Delgado used to be a catcher, if you remember.
Right.
Now first baseman, as he waits, looks in at Matheny, who takes a strike and a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Leiter.
Hey, where is he going to catch it? Well, no, we want you.
Well, he just saw that last throw from Woodward and thinks, I got a shot at one before the end of the night.
Yeah, that's better. I was thinking Mike was going to hit him one. I was hoping he was out in left center.
I don't want Mike hitting him one.
That's what I was saying.
There.
But I like your idea of Woodward throwing him one.
1 ball, 1 strike on Matheny, who had a hit for an RBI last night in a 4-run 5th inning after the Cardinals were totally shut out by Escobar. Bottom of the order did it to Toronto, got the Cardinals rolling, and then the Cards put up 11 runs.
There he is, last night's starter.
Two and 2 on Matheny. Future free agent Kelvin Escobar.
He said that he didn't mind going from being the closer to the rotation because there's going to be quite a few relievers, closers that are going to be available, and having the ability to do either one makes him that much more valuable.
Wagner will be out on the market.
Yes, he will.
Houston Astro.
I still think, even though Izzy will go tomorrow and start his rehab, and hopefully he will join us on the road trip, first part of the road trip, I still think it's going to be a real decision. Do the Cardinals need to go out and get a closer even this offseason? Because this is going to be a reoccurring thing with Jason.
Pop up into shallow center, and Vernon Wells comes in, finds it, has it, and the Cards go in order in the second. The Blue Jays will have Lytle to start it, their pitcher, then Reed Johnson and Catalinato. Third inning rolls in, 1-0 St. Louis. Matt, St. Louis wants to know, Al, how many batting practice bats do you think are loaded? I've never really heard of a lot of big leaguers corking bats just for batting practice. Maybe, I wouldn't say many. It would be my answer.
I would agree with that, Joe.
That's a base hit into left center field by Lytle. Pujols will go over and cut it off, and Lytle's on a bad pitch by Simon Tachi. Left it up. Lytle jumped on it.
Lytle had been in the National League before, so I'm sure he probably has received a couple hits, but he acted like he knew what he was doing up there.
Well, they just threw the ball out of play, so unless
Really?
that's his 3,000th hit, I think it's his first.
0 for 10 coming in. Sure didn't act like it, though, did he?
No, not with that swing. His eyes lit up with the ball up around the letters, and it's 1 on with nobody out. Back to the top of the order, Reed Johnson.
Normally, you know, if you have a corked bat, you normally don't take it to batting practice or anything like that because you want to keep it secret. You don't go around telling people about it. People have experimented with them in winter ball. Ricky Horton was telling me about it. A teammate of his, a backup catcher, said he spent all night one night corking his bat. Next day he struck out 3 times and never even fouled off a pitch and never used it again.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Reed Johnson. 3-0, and Simon Tachi, after allowing the leadoff hit to Lytle, is working his way into trouble.
And that's where Dave Duncan will get upset, is you have to destroy the lower third of the batting order, and you also have to give yourself and your defense a chance by pitching ahead in the count.
High strike, and it's 3-1. Johnson is hitting .313. He has 15 hits and 48 trips. Again, Shannon Stewart is slowed by a sore hamstring, so Johnson's getting a chance to play. Shannon Stewart, one of the elite outfielders in the American League. That's crushed. Left field, home run. How far is that baby going? Way back into the seats, and it's 2-1 Toronto. Fell behind 3-1, and Simon Tachi pays the price with a tape measure shot to left.
We talked about you don't want to give any extra passes. You want to get the pitcher out because these guys will swing the bat. Surprising that Johnson only his second home run, but he put a charge in this one. They hit a lot of balls out in front and hit them with authority.
Still nobody out. Catalinato, who's 3 out of 5 in this series, strike 1. Catalinato lined one into right for a base hit, his first time up tonight. That'll play in left field for Albert Pujols. 1 out with Vernon Wells coming up. Toronto had a 2-0 lead last night. Picked that up in the 3rd inning, and now they have a 2-1 lead thanks to this.
They try to set up inside, but it does not get it there. And Johnson gets the bat head out in front. You gotta be careful when you're throwing those, trying to throw inside strikes when you're behind the count, because you don't have the margin of error to be inside or off the plate. You got to throw a strike with it. These guys will make you pay.
Now it's 2-0 on Wells, a 407-foot home run from Reed Johnson. And you look at the runs scored and where the Blue Jays are compared to the rest of the American League. There's another hit. These pitches, when they are up, The Blue Jays are not missing him. Wells is going to run on Pujols and make it with a double. Scouting report.
Good
Run on
advanced
Albert
scouting.
Pujols.
Good advanced scouting, and Albert was a little slow in getting rid of the ball. We all know about his throwing arm. It's much improved, but Vernon Wells he left the batter's box thinking too. Not a terribly hard throw, but it's accurate right there, but you kind of didn't think the big man was going to take advantage of him, and he does so.
So another double for the Toronto Blue Jays, and that's nothing new. 167. See the American League average at the bottom. Now it's Delgado. Another run in scoring position. Carlos is hitless in this series. And it looks like you're going to be careful with Delgado.
Well, you better be. But also impressed with this Blue Jays lineup because they keep on coming at you. And they came into this game with a .291 team batting average. Here's the American League's leaders in runs scored are the Blue Jays. You got the American League RBI leader at the plate. Oh, tied him up inside. That's a difference pitch. Up and in, up above the hands, or down and in. That pitch right there, an awkward swing because it locks the left-hander batter up.
Three and one. You see Matheny set up way outside. That's why that inside fastball for a swinging strike kind of surprised me. Definitely surprised Delgado, but it looked early like they were just going to pitch around Delgado and deal with Myers with 2 on 1 out. Two on, 1 out. The intentional, unintentional walk. Especially after Simon Tachi fell behind. First walk of the night for Jason. A virtual manager question: should Major League Baseball continue with interleague play? Your answer: yes. Well, your answer now will be yes.
Not exactly a ringing endorsement.
The answer was yes.
Democratic, right?
Right. The majority went to the yes votes. 2 on, 1 out. Greg Myers. I don't know how the Electoral College shook out, but the majority vote went to yes.
And let's also say there's no right or wrong answer.
That's right, and we're all winners here tonight.
That's right.
And the only bad question is the one not asked.
That's right.
0-1 on Greg Myers, who's hitting .345. Tino Martinez will recover to get the out. Simon Tachi almost had his timing thrown off as he had to drag that foot across the bag, and it's second and third, 2 out.
Hit pretty well here, goes off the glove, and then I think he kicked it with his knee, but in the vicinity. Nice play by Simon Tachi. He's a very good athlete, and so when he gets this tough play right at the bag, the flip to him stays on the bag, then he looks for the runners, locate those runners in case someone tried to come around and score.
Orlando Hudson, 2 hits in this series. He's hit line drives since the Blue Jays got to town. Second and third, 2 out. And a ball in the dirt. And anybody who was with the Blue Jays, like Delgado, says, I remember Mike Matheny always doing that when he wore the Blue Jay uniform.
Hudson looked at a breaking ball in the first pitch.
Clemens' quest for 300, Fox Saturday Baseball at Wrigley. 2 balls, no strikes on Hudson. Interesting email from Ken in St. Charles, who believes Sosa, because he said if you were to cork a bat, you'd at least have that plug be the same color as the bat. which I haven't paid any attention to. There's another line drive. Hudson has delivered 2 more runs, and it's 4-1. So instead of pitching around Hudson with first base open, and obviously he's not a feared hitter, but the Cardinal pitchers haven't fooled him much in this series. He doesn't have a great reputation as being one of the sluggers, but boy, he is an impressive guy at the plate. Cardinals pitch to him, and Hudson, another line drive.
Yeah, good plate coverage, goes down and gets it, lines it the opposite field, and it's a 4-1 Blue Jays lead. Now you see Vernon Wells waving home the big guy, Delgado. The little guy drives him in.
So now it's Bordick. A 4-run inning. Bordick with a base hit to center. 2 on with 2 out, and Woodward will be the hitter.
Almost as if Simon Tachi's trying to get ahead in the count, but really just throwing a ball in the middle of the plate and not putting any design to execute a good pitch. A lot of pitches up over the middle of the plate, and they get hit right there.
Boy, up. Third inning, and Kiko Calero is going to start to loosen for the Cardinals in their bullpen. Do you think the starting pitching is good enough for the Cardinals, the way it's lined up with the back end of it, Simon Tachi and Stevenson, and
no,
even Tomko?
I like Tomko.
I do too.
I like Garrett Stevenson. I like Simon Tachi a year ago. But if you ask me right now, I'd say no. And yet, with all the problems this team's had, we're 2 games out, and things will get better.
2 on, 2 out. Woodward at the plate, and ball 1 from Simon Tachi.
I can play devil's advocate, like I hear frequently from semi-Cardinal fans. Well, no, they're not good enough to win a championship. They are good enough to win the Central Division, but they're not going to run away with it.
2 on, 2 out. 1 ball, no strikes. Woodward at the plate. 1-1. There's no doubt that lineup-wise, this team can compete lineup-wise and defensively with any team in the major league.
And yet, that is one of the reasons why I've said that they're not good enough right now, is because as good as that lineup is offensively and defensively, they haven't had the consistency to score the amount of runs to protect the back end of the rotation and to help them out. So we have 1 game, if I'm not mistaken, Joe, that we've won, and that was Matt Morris's shutout, 2-0 shutout, where we scored less than 3 runs.
There's a clunker into right center, and Cairo out to get it. Off the bat of Woodward, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays bat around, and during the third, they come up with 4 runs on 5 hits, including a home run. 4-1 Toronto. Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Subway. Try one of Subway's chicken international subs on new gourmet bread. Subway, eat fresh. By Aflac, ask about it at work. And by Jim Praneri Chevrolet, where you can count on extraordinary Praneri discounts. That'll keep the kids up tonight. How long will we go? We're in the bottom of the third, an hour into this game. Father and son taking in a Cardinal game, voting for All-Stars, and Simon Tachi first up. As the Cardinals trail by 3. Simon Tachi would like to return the favor. It was a leadoff base hit by Lytle as it got the 4-run rally started for Toronto in the top of this inning.
Hit 240 last season, and he struggled this year.
Ball and a strike. Shattered bat. Got to check that bat. Check it. As Bordick makes the play to his left.
You could tell people in the stands, and they're looking at it. Just human nature now. Hurry up, get rid of it. Did I hear, or did I read correctly, that the Devil Rays catcher noticed that it was loaded, and he flipped it over to the bat boy because he didn't want to be part of it? But see, he's checking it there. Wrong end to check, but he's checking it.
Cairo now. He led off with a base hit in the bottom of the first. I read something to that effect, which is interesting.
Yeah, which is real interesting.
Start talking about the rotation, and that's why a name like Chuck Finley, I think, still has to be talked about. And I know that financially,
it's not our money, right?
Definitely not our money. Financially, I know there are some guys in the clubhouse that would like to try to make it work. That's easy for us to say and hard for Walt to do. Obviously, Walt would love to add a guy like that.
Absolutely, and a lot of those guys pulled together and said, Walt, will defer more money. I bet Walt will be the first one to make that phone call. And remember, Chris Carpenter, formerly of the Blue Jays, will be around another month. Oquendo, he judges the speed before he tells Bordick, hey, I got this. Come on, I can handle this.
He's younger than Bordick.
But watch here. He judges speed. All good hands, always good hands.
I got it, old man, he said. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Cairo. What is we ought to at least have one of the two of us walk over and find out what the progress report is on Chris Carpenter, because I must get 50 emails a night about it as Cairo's on with a 1-out hit. And just see how far away he is. I know that they shut him down for a while. He's back throwing, but we seem to pay attention to every second that Jason Isringhausen is living and how he's throwing and where he's going and where his rehab sending him. How about Carpenter?
Well, let's see the second base hit of Cairo after this inning. I will do so.
I'm not. I'll go.
No. I'll go. I'd be more than happy to. Be your errand boy.
I think it'd be worthwhile to find out.
Yes.
One on, one out. Palmeiro with a late swing. Strike one.
Let's go back to Cairo's base hit. Watch his back foot. Comes off the ground. Kind of can't say you got your center of balance there, but it was productive with the second hit. Some guys are front foot hitters, but it's easier to keep that back foot planted.
It's 0-1. Palmeiro takes the ball. So again, Corey Lytle, who was a part of the Oakland A's and all that great pitching that they have, ends up in Toronto, and he's 7 for 7 in road starts, 7 wins. Cardinals and Blue Jays wrap up this series tomorrow, and the former Blue Jay, Willie Williams, 7-1, takes on Mark Hendrickson. Here's a 1-1. Palmeiro shoots one into right center field. Roll ball, roll. All the way to the track, and Cairo's going to cruise home for first on a double by Palmeiro. It's 4-2.
Here comes the Redbirds. As two top guys in the order are now 2 for 2. Palmeiro just laces that ball, plugs the gap out into right center. Not the one in the Sosa's bat, but the gap. And here Cairo comes all the way home. Gets to the wall. Now just the edge of the warning track. Cardinals, National League leaders in doubles.
Blue Jays lead the AL. Runner at second, only 1 out. A tying run at the plate. A guy named Albert hitting 58th in leading the National League in slugging percentage, has 15 home runs. Bud leaderboard. Pujols at 694, better than Bond, Sheffield, and Mike Lowell, who's putting together an all-world year.
They keep on talking about him going to the Cubs.
That's foul.
Juan Cruz, I know at one time was the asking price, and if I was the Cubs, I don't know why they would be holding on to him.
They just sent him out.
They sent him to the minor leagues, wasn't getting enough work. Maybe turn him into a starter, but I know he's young and got a great arm. But if I can get an everyday player like Lowell at a problem position like third, what's your hesitation?
I agree. Runner at second, one out, no balls, two strikes on Pujols. Edmonds on deck. Good block by Myers. I know that the thought of Mike Lowell in a Cubs uniform makes Tony La Russa sweat. Lowell is one of his favorites.
Right now, I think the Toronto Blue Jays are making him sweat.
Up 4-2 in the third. Orlando Palmeiro with an RBI double after a one-out hit by Miguel Cairo. And it's 2-2, and again Myers at least good enough to keep the ball at the plate.
Stand not bad average, 525, and only 5 RBIs to this point in 9 games. I think he'll try and see if he can change that.
Now it's a 2-2 count and a pickoff play back at second. Cairo gets, or rather Palmeiro gets back. Slap tag by Hudson, a little late. Cardinals have 5 hits, Toronto 7. What's going on in Cincinnati? Cincinnati leads at home over New York 6-2. I'll tell you what, I'm almost ready to guarantee there'll be another storyline going into that weekend series of the Cubs with the Yankees. The 2-2, 3-2. I think George Steinbrenner can't wait to get rid of at least a member of Joe Torre's
Staff, right? Yeah.
And if it's one of the higher ups like a Don Zimmer, that could cause big problems.
Well, I think he treats Zimmer almost as the most untouchable
because of his relationship with Torre. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second, 1 out. Pujols, a little clunker. That ball's going to be a base hit. First and third, 1 out.
Watch Albert right here. Gets out in front on this pitch. The hands stay back, and then he's wailing for it, but running down the line, and this ball just perfectly placed, a swinging bunt. He's got very sore legs, but he plays every day, and you always worry. He said his ankle was a little sore. It swelled up a little bit from yesterday, but it's his hamstrings and just a little tightness there.
And now Edmonds, who homered last night and has an RBI single tonight, bats with 2 on, 1 out, Cards down by 2, and he's taking all the way. It's a strike.
A lot of the Cardinal hitters have been way out in front on off-speed pitches from Lytle, but Jim Edmonds, the way he hits from that very wide stance, combats being too far out in front, and usually his ability to hang in there, hit inside the ball, will hold him up.
1 ball, 1 strike.
A lot of guys will hit with their legs much closer, and then they stride into the ball, and they're off balance. But with this wide stance, his center of gravity is usually pretty good. Too
late, 1-2. trying to meddle. George Steinbrenner, just to finish the thought about the Yankees last night or yesterday, named Derek Jeter the 11th player captain in Yankee franchise history. He did it. Joe Torre did not. A 1-2. That's going to get out of play.
Now that is interesting, isn't it, Joe?
It is, because earlier when Jeter signed the $189 million contract that he signed, Steinbrenner brought that up to Torre, and Torre said, we don't need that. We don't need to have a team captain. We'll spread it around. Now,
so one more dig.
Joe Torre isn't asked, and Steinbrenner names Jeter captain. Couldn't wait to do it. They did it when they were in Cincinnati.
And instead of coming home, waiting to make a big ceremony or a big deal about it at their home ballpark, did it at the beginning of a road trip.
Edmonds able to lay off that pitch. 2-2. Lytle mixing it up, trying to keep these Cardinal hitters off balance. And Edmonds trying to smoke one. Tying runs are on. We're only in the third.
Fastball in.
Full count. It was up, not necessarily in.
Up there, as he said, more for show, wasn't even close to Jimmy. Count full. Runners at the corners. Didn't want the fastball in, didn't want the changeup, didn't want this, didn't want that. Now went back to the original one, fastball in. I'm surprised they aren't going to reset. Sinker.
First and third, one out. 3-2 pitch. Just missed to load him up for Rolen. Jim Edmonds at the mercy of the home plate umpire, and Kerwin Danley said ball 4. The first walk of the night by Lytle.
That's that sinker that it really kind of starts inside and then tails back, a little running back over the plate. And I think Jimmy had, as you said, at the mercy of the umpire. See it tailing back a little bit, but it's still low and maybe it's still a bit inside.
So a visit to the mound. I talked about the Cincinnati Yankees game. The Reds have home runs from Griffey, Boone, Casey, LaRue, and they lead the top of the 8th at home over the Yankees 6-2. Meanwhile, Boston won the first game of a doubleheader at Pittsburgh, and they lead the nightcap 2-0.
And look at where Delgado is. See where the first baseman was standing there, was back almost like shielding from the first base coach and base runner the conversation the pitching coach Gil Patterson was having with his pitcher.
Never seen that.
I've never seen that before, but I mean, he never looked in. He just had his back to the conversation and almost like checking to see and moving in case Dave McKay or somebody tried to read lips.
Now Rolen with the bases loaded. Only one out. Cardinals down 4-2. Good pitch from Lytle. Strike one.
Breaking ball there. Scotty Rolen. 380 average with 5 home runs, runners in scoring position. That's 4th best in the National League.
One ball, one strike. Big chance here for the Cardinals after the Blue Jays batted around in the top of this third, coming up with 4 runs on 5 hits. Cards have 1 on the board, bases loaded, Rolen at the plate. Scott bounced into a double play his first time. Myers has done a lot of that this inning.
Myers skate save, misses the glove completely, but catches him on the leg, keep the ball in front of him.
Rolen has hit 11 home runs. To the right side. They get the out at second. That's it. It's a one-run game as Palmeiro scores. It's 4-3, and the RBI for Rolen, number 46.
Now, Jimmy, going to see it's not hit particularly hard, so he shouldn't be able to turn two, but you go after the guy anyway to try and keep him from the return throw, or if he does throw it, he throws it away. You got to be very careful that you don't go too far and have the umpire award you out. But you see the play here, you go after the pivot man. You still got to be in the vicinity of second base.
So it takes a hit if the Cards are going to tie it here in the third. First and third, 2 out. And ball one from Lytle. Renteria tonight grounded out to short. He had to count 3-0. Lytle got 2 strikes, and Edgar grounded to Woodward.
Team high 23 2-out RBIs.
Here's a 1-0. Pretty well hit, right center field. Got a chance. Back at the wall. It's off the base of the wall. 2 runs are going to score, and the Cardinals regain the lead. He's pretty good with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Did I tell you he has 25 RBIs for 2 outs? Money in the bank. He said U.S. or Colombian bank.
Our next Hell direct connect hit, a 2-out, 2-run double to put the Cardinals back out in front.
Breaking ball gets over the head of Wells off the base of the wall, and stand-up double for him. 5-4 St. Louis lead. And boy, he comes to play. The bigger the situation, the better he likes it.
Martinez now with a chance for a 2-out RBI, and the 91-mile-an-hour fastball is in for strike 1.
Listen to this.
A chant of Tino, Tino.
Tino. Heard that early last season, but Tino hadn't heard much of it. But that's what he needs. He needs a few people to get pumping him up.
Line drive for a hit. Here comes Edgar. He stumbles. Johnson's throw is still too late, and the Cardinals lead 6-4. A 4 RBI series for Tino Martinez already.
Edgar, as you said, he stumbled, nearly fell down right around the third base bag, but the throw was offline, and Tino does get that 4th RBI in this series. Now the piece of hitting goes down and gets that, lifts it, line drive to right field. Here comes the throw from Johnson, and it's up the third base line. Renteria goes around it, and then Tino alertly goes to second base to put himself in scoring position. You watch him go around third base here, and right at the bag, he almost stumbled, almost collided with Oquendo, but no contact was made.
This will be an intentional pass to bring up Simon Tachi. Second at bat in the inning for Simon Tachi coming up as Matheny will draw it. Renteria delivers. Martinez delivers. More action from the bottom of the order tonight as we had last night against Toronto. And it'll be 2 on with 2 out for Simon Tachi. If nothing else, you mentioned Tino Martinez, Al, going to second. Got into scoring position, and it at least got Matheny out of the way here in the 3rd inning.
Extends the inning to get to pitcher spot up here right around the third base bag. I don't know, and I wonder if he thought that Oquendo was going to send him or not, but it was right near the bag, also very close the proximity of Oquendo, the third base coach. Jason very capable of helping himself.
Lidle misses with ball one. Action now for the Blue Jays in their bullpen as a right-hander cranks it up.
Josh Towers, who they just called up. There's the young man. He's 2-4.
1 ball, 1 strike, and Simon Tachi
For the Syracuse Chiefs. Only 70 pitches, but not a good ratio at all. 32 balls to 38 strikes.
Now 1-2.
Right fielder playing close to that right field line, very shallow. He could be burned by Simon Tachi. He's a different hitter as he is a pitcher this season than last. He's got the most run support, over 6 per game. So he could have could and should have a much better record.
Cards have won 6 of his 10 starts. Now the count's 2-2 with Cairo next. Not getting any new emails, so if you're trying to get my attention, system ain't working right now. Two on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch right down the middle. Simon Tachi takes it, and the Cardinals take the lead. A 9-run inning, 4 in the top half, 5 in the bottom half. Biggest lead of the night for St. Louis, 6-4 after 3.
Today's Aflac trivia is, what is the longest suspension handed out by Major League Baseball for corking a bat since 1970? Let you think about that a little bit. Jason Simon Tachi back to the mound. We played 3 innings of pretty exciting baseball. Had 15 hits and 10 runs scored, and the Cardinals have a 6-4 lead.
Cards fans, on Saturday, June 21st, the Cardinals play their home state rivals, the Kansas City Royals. It's Merrimack Caverns, not at the ballpark. You see, you take I-44 out to Merrimack Caverns. And all fans age 11 and under with a paid admission receive a coupon good for a cave tour and boat ride at Merrimack Caverns. Call 314-421-2400. Log on to stlcardinals.com.
Yeah, Jesse James and I used to hang out there.
Lidle may have been 0 for 10 coming into this game, but he gets a pretty good hack. He has a hit. Now he grounds to third. 1 up, 1 down. Cardinals have their own rally monkey now. Our Geico direct moment would be this. Sammy Sosa on the corked bat incident. I just picked the wrong bat. I apologize to my team. I apologize to the commissioner of baseball.
You better apologize to him.
Do you know the answer to our trivia question tonight? I saw the last 3. I just read those online. We were saying last night an automatic 10-game suspension. That's not right.
No, it's not. But most of the time it was 10 games.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on.
But I didn't understand. A couple of them appealed their suspension and got it reduced to 7 or 8 games. What's there to appeal?
Well, in fact, the last 3 have been between 7 and 8 games.
That's what I'm saying. But what are you appealing?
It's the power of Gene Orza and the Players Association. On 2-1. Reed Johnson trying to bunt his way on 2-2.
Well, let me tell you something. Until they put a real stiff penalty on it, you're going to have people that are going to continue to cheat.
Absolutely. And you don't want to make an example of a guy, but you've got to have a stiffer penalty for corking your bat. If you get 7 or 8 games, why wouldn't everybody in the league cork their bat? If you get caught, you sit out for a week. If you don't, you get $5 million a year raise.
Yeah, and I mean, and something else that needs to change, because it puts a total undue burden on the ball club, because the star player goes, well, wait a minute, I'm trying to win you ball games, so I want to be paid during that suspension. It is up to the club to whether it's with pay or without pay.
The 2-2. Just sticking the bat out, and Renneria got a great jump on that ball. 2 out. That was made to look easy by Edgar, but certainly wasn't. He is on his toes. So with 2 out, nobody on, the number 2 hitter, Catalanato, stands in.
Sometimes you have a very rough inning. You get rewarded by your teammates getting you off the hook, or come back and get 5 runs, give you the lead after you give up 4. And you go out there and throw the game you're supposed to throw. Get ahead, but then continue to make pitches instead of just throwing the ball over the middle of the plate.
Here's a 0-1 pitch to Catalanato with 2 out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Catalanato holds it high, and his average is high, 330. Off the hands, a better pitch, 1-2.
Much more aggressive this inning. Acts like he wants this game.
Two and two with the big bats coming up. That's Wells, Delgado, and Myers.
Curveball.
Full count.
I think his best pitch is a changeup. That was one of the pitches that Mike wanted him to throw. He shook it off and wanted that curveball.
Pop up. Al, why don't you go down and ask Mr. Jocketty about Chris Carpenter. Tina Martinez ends officially the 1-2-3 fourth inning for Toronto. Top of the order coming up for the Cards. They lead it by 2. Our Aflac trivia question. What's the longest suspension handed out by Major League Baseball for corking a bat since 1970? Billy Hatcher got 10 days. But looking at, let's see, Guerrero I think got 8. Wilton Guerrero. Who else? Sabo got 7. So it is not an automatic 10-game suspension, or if it is initially, as Al mentioned, and Al is still down talking to Walt Jocketty. So why don't we just talk to a bunch of us? We'll leave Al out of this inning. As Al mentioned, if it was an automatic 10-game suspension initially handed out, the suspension was reduced after, I don't know who, F. Lee Bailey or Johnny Cochran talked down the suspension, which seems impossible, but they ended up being 7 or 8 game suspension. Al is fresh back from his trip down the press box row to talk to Walt and Joe Jocketty. Here's a 1-ball, 2-strike pitch to Cairo, leading off, and another hit into left field for Miguel. He's 3 for 3. That's the way to break out of an 0 for 18 slump.
Okay, how much money you got?
At least $7-8.
All right. Nah, forget it. I'll just tell you 3.
All right, go.
All right, well, he said Carpenter really had that setback. As you see Cairo pick up his 3rd hit. Better balance this time as he laces that one out there. But he really threw yesterday, threw about 12 pitches and pitched 1 inning and then finished up in the bullpen. He's probably more like a month away. He still hadn't even had his, what we call the official clock on a rehab yet. Just throwing an extended spring training. And so it'll probably be a week to 10 days before he does that, and then 2 to 3 weeks once he starts throwing.
Will they condition him as a starter or as a reliever?
You know, I've heard both ways, and I failed to get the full story to ask you that, but I think right now, I think they're thinking of him as a starter, because Isringhausen will make 3 relief appearances starting tomorrow, Double-A. He'll have Girardi catch him, but it'll be Thursday, Saturday, and Tuesday. And then if everything works out, he'll join the ball club on that road trip.
Palmeiro trying to get one down, fouls.
Girardi will probably stay there because he needs a few more at-bats. He feels great physically, not having any problem catching, but just wants to get his timing back, and he'll have stay at Double-A and probably get a few more at-bats before he rejoins the ball club.
Brian Whitworth from Arkansas asked, how are Jimmy Jurnell and Dan Herron pitching at Triple-A?
Well, you know, they flip-flopped. Herron came up from Double-A and took Jurnell's spot in the rotation, and Jimmy Jurnell, they're kind of grooming as a reliever now. And I talked to Chris Widgert when he was down there and saw Jurnell as both a starter and a reliever. He gave a bigger endorsement for him as a reliever. Hard thrower, good slider, but felt like he was more suited to relief pitching because he didn't really have to think as much. And that could be somewhat of a story like a Todd Worrell, hopefully. That'd be a very happy ending.
We could only hope. The 1-1 pitch, Cairo running, the Jays pitch out, and out at second. So the Blue Jays sniffed out that one and caught stealing 2-4 for the first out of the inning.
Well, you see he takes off here. He looks in and sees the pitch out, and it's usually a dead. His throw was high, but a snap tag by Hudson getting the throw down. Palmeiro could have thrown the bat at it.
That'll play for Myers. 2 out. 2 out, nobody on. Pujols is coming up. If you'd like to win Cardinals tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion during a Cardinal home game, here's your chance. Send your name, address, and phone number. Southwest Airlines Family of the Game, P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis, Missouri 63177. Did you alert Walt to the fact that we're in here spending Cardinal money trying to re-sign Chuck Finley?
No, I did not. Said Joe had a surprise for you.
2 out, nobody on. Here's Pujols. And there's strike 1.
I did see where Finley's agent, the Hendricks brothers, said that he could be ready to pitch in like 2 weeks.
0-2.
Albert's bat doesn't move a lot. Up and down a little bit, but not all the movement, and he keeps his hands really steady.
A 3-pitch at bat. Pujols strikes out. And now the Cards go in order as the Jays did in the top of the 4th. We go to the 5th. Big bats coming up for Toronto. Wells, Delgado, and Myers. Toronto down by 2. On this Schnucks date in baseball history, June 4, 1967, Curt Flood's errorless streak, 227 games, ends when he drops a fly ball at Busch Stadium against the Cubs. On this date, 1967, the late Curt Flood. We go to the 5th inning, and it's 6-4 Cardinals. It's the 3-4-5 men, Wells, Delgado, and Myers. And Simon Tachi will have to have his best in this inning to keep the lead. Coming off a 1-2-3 4th inning. Good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore has taken a 3-2 7th inning lead at Houston. Boston trying to sweep a doubleheader from the Pirates. Cincinnati beat the Yankees 6-2, so they're 0-2 on this interleague journey. That is going to play in left center field as Wells didn't get his arms extended, and Edmonds takes it 1 out.
How about George Steinberg complaining about
He read my mind.
the interleague schedule? They have to play Cincinnati. They're a good ball club. We have to play the Cubs. The Cubs.
He was upset that the Yankees had to play Cincinnati and the Cubs while Boston, the other guys, as he said,
Yeah,
had to play Pittsburgh and Milwaukee.
in Milwaukee.
He said Katie Feeney, league office, has always had it out for the Yankees and that they don't like Katie Feeney. One out, nobody on, and Carlos Delgado stands in. And gets into one to right. Goodbye. Delgado's first hit of the series. And his 17th home run of the season, 58th RBI. It's 6-5 in the fifth.
You said it, Joe. You can't keep him down too long. They've done a good job to this point, but Tony La Russa knows this is one of the most dangerous bats in all the American League or baseball. 17 home runs. That's among league leaders, and his 58 RBIs. That rules baseball. And there was no doubt about that one. Quick wrist.
Myers with a base hit up the middle. 1 on, 1 out, tying run aboard with Orlando Hudson coming in.
They're going to concentrate on Hudson this time around because he's 2 for 2.
He's got my attention. He doesn't have the Cardinals yet. Hitting .290, 25 RBIs. Batting behind Myers, and Dave Duncan's going to go out and talk. And Kiko Calero, for the second time, will get loose.
There's a couple guys down that bullpen that need some work. Kiko's one, Hermanson, and Eldridge seemed like it's been a while.
John Lloyd of Effingham, Illinois. Al wants you to compare Kenny Reitz and Scott Rowland.
Off the field? On the field?
No.
Well, I love Kenny Reitz, the Zamboni machine, and won a couple gold gloves, and then a guy named Mike Schmidt took a couple away from him because of his great offensive powers of Mike Schmidt. But Kenny could not run a lick, and Scotty's a great base runner. Kenny would lead the league in hitting in April and then go down to 250 at the end of the season. But as much as I love Kenny Reitz, this is a much superior ball player.
And Ken would tell you that.
Yeah, and I mean,
I would think.
I'm sure he would, but
he was one of my favorites.
Yes,
Ken Reitz growing
absolutely one of my favorites and still is.
Finally in on Hudson as he fouls it off his foot. 1 ball, 1 strike. When I was a little kid running around the ballpark and in the clubhouse, Ken Reitz used to come up behind me and give that scream, that yell. That was my welcome to the clubhouse as a 4-year-old. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, 1 out, 1-run lead. Hudson breaks his bat. Renteria's got a chance, and they can't do tonight what they did last night. Cairo couldn't get his footing, but eventually gets out there, and now it's 2 on with 1 out. It's a base hit for Hudson. He's 3 for 3.
Well, you're right. They tried to do the same thing. Renteria deep in the hole. The only play across his body, contortionist, and then a scoop to Cairo is almost humorous after Cairo trying to go after this ball and run it into place. Never lose. Well, it gets on his knees. And yet Myers couldn't advance. So hustling after that ball. And here we are in another jam in the 5th inning.
There's Bordick, 2 on, 1 out. I would say any more trouble, and Simon Tachi's not going to have a chance to get in his 5 innings to have a chance for the victory. He's allowed a 1-out home run, 395-footer to Delgado. Back-to-back hits by Myers and Hudson. A 1-0 to Bordick. Matheny 2-0. Matheny does his thing, and Simon Tachi is on his way out of this game if he can't find the strike zone and make better pitches.
Well, you try and nurse your way through this 5th inning, but falling behind the count, not paying any attention to that runner at second base. We've seen a couple times, a couple clubs trying to time him and try to steal third, but Myers not the kind of guy you expect him to do that.
2 balls and a strike. Cardinals will have Edmonds, Rowland, and Renteria in the bottom of this 5th. Now there's action as the Jays are at the bottom of their lineup in the Toronto bullpen. Bordick 1 for 2 tonight. That's foul. It's a good little player. This is the kind of guy. Now the Cardinals got Bill Selby today. I'm sure Bordick is in the Toronto plans, and as you said last night, the Toronto attitude from the beginning part of the year to now is where they were starting to think about making trades, moving guys to build for the future. They're going to hang on to players for now and see how Carlos Tosca and this group get through the middle part of the season. They might contend in the AL East. Still 2-2 on a high changeup as Simon Tachi got away with a pitch.
Carlos has got these guys playing well. Prior to coming to the Blue Jays as their manager, and he succeeded Buck Martinez. He spent 3 years as the bench coach in Arizona. Was in the Florida organization prior to that. Was never a professional baseball player.
Two out. We saw Simon Tachi get aggressive last inning. We saw it in the first couple innings. But in the third and now here in the fifth, outside of that last pitch to Bordick, he seems to have lost that aggression with which he was pitching earlier in the game.
That's almost like the home run by Delgado took a little bit out of him, but he came back on Bordick.
That's a break. Can't hit it any harder, and Woodward, instead of tying the game or putting Toronto on top, hits it right at Rolen, and somehow, some way, Simon Tachi just got through 5 innings. Halfway through it. Heart of the order coming up, 6-5 Cardinals. The Best Damn Sports Show. Tonight, they discuss Sammy Sosa's corked bat and whether or not his reputation will be diminished. Plus, actor-singer Tyrese talks sports, discusses his new movie, Too Fast, Too Furious. And Roger Clemens' high school coach, Charles Majorana, tells them about the future Hall of Famer's quest for his 300th win. The Best Damn Sports Show, period, tonight at 11, only on Fox Sports Net. Bottom of the 5th inning, and it will be Edmonds to start it off for the Cardinals. Rolen and Renteria will follow. Keep an eye on that Cardinal bullpen and see if Calero gets loose again as Edmonds fouls away strike one. One ball, one strike. Lytle came in with 8 wins. He's allowed 6 runs on 9 hits, while Simon Tachi's allowed 5 runs on 10 hits. Simon Tachi's allowed 2 home runs tonight. Edmonds hits it hard, but right at Delgado. 1 out. First time Jim's been retired tonight, and Rolen will bat. Stacy Ralph says get well soon to her father so he can play baseball with his 2 6-year-old grandsons. As the emails now are rolling back in, Al. Do not worry. Rolen 0 for 2 in this game, does have an RBI and a ground out. A force out at second, takes a strike.
Get ahead breaking ball that kind of just looks at.
It appears that Simon Tachi's finished. With Calero getting loose for the 3rd time in the bullpen while the Cardinals bat, it will be, it appears, 5 and fly for Simon Tachi. That's a foul ball.
Bordick coming over here. Go ahead and execute the ball in foul territory. I guess Oquendo have to give him a hard time. Say, hey, that was my ball.
That Bordick has no chance at, and the visitor side still has that netting up. Off the netting, back to Oquendo, and now into the seats. The Cardinals, I believe, they still have the netting down at the far end, taking the netting away from the spot where Joe Patini, Dave Duncan, and Tony La Russa watch the game. 0-2 pitch. 2 out. And the third strikeout for Corey Lytle. Simon Tachi struck out 3 while he was in there. What's on tap? Brought to you by Budweiser. Best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. Another game for you on Fox Sports Net tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. with the award-winning Cardinals tonight. And then it's the Cardinals and the Blue Jays wrapping up this series before the Orioles come to town. 2 out, nobody on, and Renteria, such a big part of this game again, with a 2-out, 2-run go-ahead double in the third, and then he scored on the 2-out RBI hit by Tino Martinez, who's on deck. The 1-0 pitch. Ball and a strike.
Edgar 6 for his last 9. Doing damage in the RBI department.
2-1. We'll have Woody Williams on the mound tomorrow after Woody lost on Saturday to Pittsburgh. Three and one. I believe there will be a new leader in the AL East where the Toronto Blue Jays play. Woody Williams take on his former organization with San Diego between St. Louis and Toronto.
Austin is leading 6-2 over Pirates.
That went under the glove of Woodward. And Renteria is on. We'll see how they score it. Most likely give the home guy a hit, but nope, it's E6.
11th error by Woodward as this ball sneaks underneath his glove, going to his left, and didn't come up for him.
Cardinal dugout looking up at the official scorer. I don't know why that wasn't a hit.
I have a philosophy, Joe. Most of the time, the official scorer always gives a hit. You know why? You got 2 happy campers to one that's sad. If you give a hit, the fielder is happy, the hitter is happy. The only guy that's mad is the pitcher. If you give him an error, the hitter's unhappy, the fielder's unhappy, and the pitcher's the only one that is happy. 2 against 1.
Runner is going. A chance to run. Meyer's throw is high, and out is the call as Renteria is tagged out by Woodward to erase the error. That'll do it for the first 5 in St. Louis. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Cards up 6-5. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack's got 3 new ultimate salads: Asian chicken, Southwest chicken, and chicken club. By Kia Motors, 7 cars, 1 belief, Kia. And by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. We are into inning number 6, and Kiko Calero comes out of the bullpen for the Cardinals in our call to the bullpen, brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel.
Kiko appearing here for the 17th time. 1 save and 3 opportunities. Good time for. Biggest thing is those 27 strikeouts. Been a little over a week since he's last pitched, so one of 2 or 3 that need a little work. And Cal Eldred hadn't pitched since last Thursday. Kiko was on the 27th of May. Hermanson the 25th of May. So we've seen him come out here and really devastate right-handed batters with a very effective slider.
First up, the pitcher, Corey Lytle. They're going to stay with their starter in a 1-run game. On the outside part for a strike. Lytle has swung the bat well. Has a base hit. He scored a run. And he hit one sharply to third his last time up. I think it's a good swing. But it's 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Came into this action 0 for 10. Got his first major league hit.
Too far outside, wouldn't go after it. A ball and 2 strikes after Lytle. Back to the top, Reed Johnson and Frank Catalanato. 2-2.
Corey was 5-1 in May, and Roy Halladay was 6-0. So they went to a combined 11-1 in May with a 3.09 ERA.
Into shallow center. That ball might drop. Nope. There's Edmonds, out number 1. Lytle is taken care of, and there's that good defense we talked about at the start of the night. This week, Fox Saturday Baseball returns with the Yankees visiting historic Wrigley Field for the first time since 1938. And it just so happens that the big wheel kept on spinning and came up with Roger Clemens. His 3rd attempt at trying to win his 300th career game. First time he'll ever pitch at Wrigley. That starts at 12 Central Time here in the Midwest. That's on Saturday, and that should be a lot of fun. Strike 1 to Reed Johnson. One.
3 for 8 in the series, 1 for 3 here today. Hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd.
A little high and tight, 2-1. Cardinals get Klein loose with Catalanato up next and Delgado lurking. Catalanato, then Wells, a good hitter, and Delgado. 2-1 to Reed Johnson. Might have gone. Nope. Says the first base umpire. 3-1.
See what Wally Bell sees.
The former pitcher says
No swing.
3 balls and a strike. Come back. Full count.
Go ahead, Kiko, throwing that slider. 3-2.
And it's still full.
When the good one kind of backed up on him, but still. These guys looking for all fastballs. Got a late breaking slider. Gonna throw the fastball.
And now we'll see if he goes back to the slider. Matt Becker from Charleston, Illinois, where the football Cardinals used to train.
Yes, it is.
Eastern Illinois University. Alerts us that as he's flipping back and forth, every time Sosa comes up, he's getting a standing ovation in their game at home against Tampa Bay as they trail 5-1 to the Devil Rays in the 7th. 3-2 pitch. Hard hit. Rolling with a backhand. Has to make up for it and can with that great arm. 2 out. Tonight's Pennzoil protection play is the way this inning started. Really pretty good defensive place to start the inning. The better one by Edmonds in center.
Corey Lytle hits this little pop-up coming in here. Remember, Jimmy bruised his ribs diving for a similar play. Catches the ball, and then his momentum brings him to his knees.
Calero deals with Catalanato. Strike 1. Catalanato tonight has singled, flied out, popped up. Pops up again into center field. Edmonds waited, now goes back, and the 1-2-3 inning for Calero. Good work He hasn't had a lot of it, but he steps in and retires the Jays in order, protecting a one-run lead. Bottom of the 6th inning rolls in. Bottom part of the order. It's 6-5 Cardinals. The 2003 Ford Ranger, $3,000 cash back or 0% financing for 60 months to qualified buyers. You heard right. $3,000 cash back or 0% financing. Ford in your quality Ford stores. Your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. Tino Martinez into right center field. Well hit. Back at the track. A one-hopper off the wall, and Martinez has 2. He's going to turn and go. The relay throw by Woodward is not in time. The rare Martinez triple.
How about that? Tino goes home on the off day, comes back with a vengeance. Had 3 RBIs yesterday. RBI here today, his second hit. And this one goes right off the base of the wall. Have to play the carom. And Tino, these people are starting to come around. Watching this, makes the decision to go on to third base. Good throw's going to have him, but they have to execute, and they can't come up with it.
It was about halfway to third that he pulled the chute. And he was running with a lot on him. But he got there. Pretty good relay throw from Woodward, but it short hopped the third baseman Bordick, who couldn't get it cleanly and get the tag down. Good play by Martinez, and Matheny into center. That ball's well hit. Back at the wall. It is off the base of the wall, and now Matheny is going to try for 3. You can't be serious. Back-to-back triples, Martinez and Matheny. It's 7-5 in the 6th.
What's the chance of that, Joe? What are those odds?
I don't know what kind of odds you can get on that. They're going to throw the ball out of play, I'm sure by Lytle's insistence.
Well, here you got sure RBI situation with this fly ball, but then you start thinking, does it have a chance to get out? And Vernon Wells trapped it up against the wall. It's right at his ankle. Didn't know where it was, but Mike got a pitch he could drive. He's running. That's it. That's hustling. That's 4-bore. He's going to hustle all the way, and now he decides to turn on those afterburners. Put the clock on that one. Watch it, Tino. He's having some fun last couple nights. Vernon Wells.
You know, Al, what's about as impossible to believe as back-to-back triples by those two, that a ball could be hit, could get trapped between Vernon Wells and the wall, and he could basically smash it right up against the base of the wall. He's looking for it because you think it's got to end up somewhere off the wall, and there it is, literally rolled up like you're pitching quarters against the wall.
Yeah, I want you to just sneak over his glove. He doesn't get any leather on it, and then it goes right down, and his leg and ankle kind of shifted, kicked it right up against the wall, trapped it there. He was looking for the carom and then realized it was at his feet.
Calling the bullpen for the Blue Jays from the Renaissance Grand Hotel. Trevor Miller, who the Cardinals faced last night, will be the pitcher. Matheny at third, still nobody out, up by 2. 31st appearance for Trevor Miller. Number 30 came here last night. And after initially sending up Kerry Robinson, the Cardinals are going to counter the left-hander with Eduardo Perez, with Matheny at third and still nobody out.
And one of the reasons why Tony wants to counter the left-hand swinger, because Miller could sell left-handed batters to a 200 average, but right-handers are batting .361 against him. Tied for second in the American League with those 31 or 30 previous appearances. He's stranded 20 of 23 runners he's inherited.
It's going to be tough to make it 21 of 24 with a guy at third and nobody out. Eduardo Perez takes the ball. Kerry Robinson was announced as the pinch hitter, so he is erased. And And Eduardo Perez takes Robinson's place as the count goes to 2-0 with Cairo on deck, and a right-hander was warming up a moment ago and now will continue to for the Blue Jays in their bullpen.
Eduardo has the infield in.
3-0. Trevor Miller may come out of the bullpen for a walk and exit. Let's see if the Cards are swinging with Perez on 3-0. Why not? 3-1.
Eduardo's hit safely in 13 of his past 18 games. 340 average. 3 doubles and a home run.
There's the walk. Cairo's coming up, and Miller may be coming out. Carlos is perched on the first step. Is he going to make his entrance? You've got Cairo up now, the lefty Palmeiro on deck. Cairo's looking for his 4th hit.
Sturts is out there in the bullpen.
Former Cub, Canyon Sturts, former Devil Ray. Cubs and Devil Rays are playing right now, and it's 5-1 Tampa Bay. Cairo. Strike 1. Didn't like the call. Cairo singled and scored in the first, singled and scored in the third, singled without stealing in the fourth. Matheny followed Tino Martinez triple with a triple of his own. Same pitch, same result, 0-2.
Guys are wearing patches, wearing rough spots out there in the outfield. They don't move.
The 0-2. Cairo checked it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And we made mention of the fact last night that interleague play, there isn't as much advanced scouting, or at least detailed books on where Cardinal hitters would hit the ball. Therefore, the Blue Jay outfield especially has played everybody straight away. A 1-2 pitch to Cairo. Reaching out to get it. Still 1-2. Evan from Sullivan, Indiana, tells us that Griffey hit a home run tonight. By the way, he left after that home run, injuring his shoulder. Ken Griffey Jr. And he says that Griffey and Musial have some interesting things in common. That's how you get a hold of us in the booth. Let's see what Cairo does on a 1-2 pitch. First and third, and instead a check on Perez, nearly a wild throw.
They're both born in Denora,
Pennsylvania on November 21st.
They both have 475 homers.
That's right.
Right now.
Those 3 things. Same date, same hometown, at least birthplace. And they are both tied with 475 career home runs. 1-2 to Cairo. That's foul.
You know what other Hall of Famer has 475 homers?
No.
Pops.
Willie Stargell.
Willie Stargell. I don't think Griffey's going to stay there, though.
No, I don't think so either. But he did injure his shoulder. Next pitch hit a home run and then left the game. 1-2 pitch. Cairo pops it out of play.
Well, you'd have to think the shoulder wasn't that injured in order to hit the home run. Maybe day to day.
Meanwhile, pitch by pitch, Miguel Cairo is doing tonight what he did last night, and that is battle. Last night he won the battle by eventually picking up a sac fly for an RBI. Cardinals lead by 2 and have 2 on and nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. That will get a run home. Great at bat. And it takes a great play from Hudson to get Cairo at first. So Cairo delivers the RBI, and the Cardinals have their biggest lead of the night at 8-5.
And you can see Cairo's just as happy with that, producing an RBI, than the first 3 at-bats when he got base hits. But that's a big, big run, giving the Cardinals a 3-run lead. Not hit enough, hard enough to take 2. Just get the batter out at first base. Tino having some fun now.
Strike 1 on Palmeiro. Depending on the rotation, as Andy Thomas in St. Louis alerts us, if Clemens doesn't get the victory 300, number 300 at Wrigley, he could pitch Friday against the Cardinals at Yankee Stadium, although normal rest would put him on Thursday.
Right.
But they've been playing with that a lot lately, moving Clemens around with relation to his pitch count. So if he doesn't get it Saturday at Wrigley, there's a chance that he could go after win number 300 on Friday night, game 1 of the series at Yankee Stadium against St. Louis the next weekend. No balls, 2 strikes on Palmeiro. Perez at second, 1 out.
Good cut there. Palmeiro on the year is 3 for 9 when facing left-handed pitchers. See, they're a little more familiar with him, and look where the left fielder is playing.
Really the only shift defensively in the outfield we've seen, and that's for the former American leaguer Palmeiro. 0-2 pitch. Waited on it, got a piece, and then it got a piece of Myers. Our virtual manager question number 2. Vote now at foxsports.com. Keyword virtual manager. Who should DH for the Cards when they visit Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium next week? Your choices are Drew, Perez, Palmeiro. And I'm sure a lot will have to do with who's pitching for the opposition.
Right. And think about a situation where maybe Pujols, his leg's still a little sore. Maybe you DH him. But Tony likes the jumps that he gets out there in the outfield. Always fun to see how a newcomer plays the Green Monster in Fenway.
Well, that'll be good news for Pujols. Don't have to make long throws out in left field at Fenway Park.
Right.
Basically playing deep short.
Remember, that's when he first went back to playing the outfield, was at Pro Player Stadium in Florida, where the short and the left field scoreboard out there. Same with Houston.
1-2 pitch. Palmeiro rounds to Hudson. That'll bring in Pujols, and we'll see if the lefty Miller stays on the mound. Runner at third, 2 out. That's Perez. Miller's peeking in that dugout to see if he's coming out. And instead they're going to walk him and pitch to Edmonds. So an intentional pass is the second handed to the Cardinals tonight. Matheny got one back in the third. Corey Lytle, the starter, got into this 6th inning, but allowed back-to-back triples to start by Tino Martinez and Mike Matheny. Cardinals have scored 2, lead by 3, and will have first and third 2 out, and Edmonds dealing with Trevor Miller.
Pitching coach run out here. Give a little sky report. Delgado's over there too, trying to give a little knowledge to Trevor Miller on Jim Edmonds. Now the whole infield's in. 2 outs.
Kids on Thursday, July 3rd, the Cardinals play the Giants. It's BJC Healthcare Kids Cap Day at the ballpark. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a specially designed youth-sized Cardinals baseball cap. Thursday, July 3, the Cardinals and the Giants. Call 314-421-2400 or log on to stlcardinals.com for tickets. Edmonds now with runners at the corners and 2 out. Jim has an RBI single, a walk, and he's grounded out. Hitless in his career and only 2 plate appearances against Miller. 28,840 watching. Ball 1 sails outside.
For the most part, they've kept the ball away from Jim. With hard stuff and wet and soft.
In for a strike, a ball and a strike. It would be lovely to get win number 2 of this series tonight and have Woody Williams set to go tomorrow before the Orioles come to town. Cardinals could get off to a good start in interleague play. Edmonds into left center field. That ball is carrying. Well hit. Wells back to end the inning. Back on the track, Edmonds made a bid to go the other way, and it came up a little short. The Cardinals got back-to-back triples to start the frame. Martinez and Matheny both scored, and the Cards lead by 3. In the category of what would the odds have been on back-to-back triples to start the bottom of the 6th inning by Martinez and Matheny, here's what they look like. And both eventually came around to score.
Well, what would be the odds that they'd both be sliding into third at the same time?
Astronomical.
One's feet first, one's hands first. Same time, same play.
Same base. Call to the bullpen brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel. Steve Klein, the same hat.
And now we come to a different channel.
Different planet.
Steve Klein been pitching much better of late. Slider's been much more consistent.
The work to Vernon Wells, Carlos Delgado, the big 3-4 combination. Then Myers, the scheduled hitter. So this is a pat on the back and a vote of confidence from Tony La Russa to hand Klein this inning up by 3. He was getting it whether the Cardinals led by 1 or by 3. That's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Eduardo Perez stayed in the ball game. He's in right. Orlando Palmeiro is finished.
And that's where Klein is, second spot in the order.
Into center. That ball's taken off, and Edmonds able to adjust. That thing was a scorcher. In the World Series, home field advantage, Al, means everything. Now, for the first time ever, baseball's best square off to determine which league gets home field advantage come October. Major League Baseball's 74th All-Star Game from Chicago. This time, it's more than just bragging rights. This time, it counts. The 2003 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 15th, only on Fox.
That's it, man. Intensity's back. It counts. It counts now.
1 out, nobody on. Delgado at the plate.
So what is it, the last 7, 8 series have been decided by whoever has home field advantage?
I think, I don't know if that's the case or not, but as you think back, let's see, last year, Anaheim, ding. The year before, Arizona, ding.
And look at
The Yankees the year before, ding. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just look at the Cardinals, their recent times. Kansas City had home field advantage. We lose there in the 7th game. Minnesota has home field advantage. Lose there in the 7th game.
Even the playoffs the last 2 years at Arizona, San Francisco.
That's right.
1-1 pitch is high and tight to Delgado, 2-1. And I don't think anybody at Fox or anybody at Major League Baseball believes that because the home field advantage for the World Series is on the line that players are going to play harder in the All-Star game. That's going to stay fair. That's a big out. Two big ones by Klein to start the inning. 2 out, nobody on. I do think, Al, though, if it changes the mood of the game, where it's less old-timers game type, where guys just get in, they play 2 innings, they get out, and then they get in their private jet and go back to their team. If there's at least something on the line, guys play longer in the games, it's more interesting.
Not only that, but the managers will manage completely different.
And what happened last year
will never happen.
Won't happen again.
You know, 'cause they were more intent in trying to get everybody an appearance than trying to win the game. It was treated as an exhibition game. So I really do believe in many ways it should be a much better contest.
It also takes pressure off the managers because of that.
I agree too.
Because managers always are under the pressure to get guys in so they make their quote-unquote all-star appearance official by getting in the game. Now they can always say, hey, I had to keep you in case we went extra innings.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason years past, especially if you're a rookie, a lot of times you didn't get into a game.
1 ball, 1 strike, Tom Wilson.
And that was fine with the players too, because they were honored to be there.
Some of the best all-star game moments, like Ted Williams' extra inning game-winning home run, wouldn't happen now because Ted Williams
wouldn't have
been in the ball game.
Didn't Red hit a home run in Anaheim in the 16th inning? Win an all-star game?
So those moments, then you get down to a lot of the extras who are still great players, but they're not the players that the fans voted in, and the guys you see year after year.
2 extra players this year, right?
That's right.
That's going to be helpful if you're trying to still, they never expanded the roster when they kept on expanding, teams.
2-2 to Tom Wilson batting for Myers. Greg was 1 out of 3 while he was in there, and just like last night, lefty on the mound, Wilson bats. Good rip. Wilson trying to get on in front of the second baseman Orlando Hudson. Cal Eldred getting loose. Klein trying to get a perfect 7th. That's ripped into left field. Pujols is back, won't get there. And a little flip back into the infield. Tom Wilson has a pinch hit double. And now Hudson, we know he can bat left-handed. Will come to the plate and bat right-handed against Klein.
Steve Klein is going to face this switch hitter, and the right side is his weaker side, but this was a rocket. Good swing. Line drive over the head of Albert. Tried to deke him a little bit, thinking he was going to reach up and catch the ball, but had an extra base hit all the way.
A 1 and a 2.
That's Lawrence Welk.
You got it. Runner at second, 2 out. And a save by Matheny. Orlando Hudson is 4 of 7 in this series, 3 for 3 tonight. So no perfect inning, but now it's Klein's objective to pitch a scoreless frame, up by 3. 1 ball, 1 strike. Eldred, Al, interesting. Sorry to talk at the same time. Interesting that he's getting loose here in the 7th.
I think they kind of like Yan right now. Esteban Yan for Eldred, kind of take over here in the 7th, pitch another 8th inning, and maybe Yan for the 9th.
The 1-1. Matheny chasing it down for strike 2. So you're saying quietly it may be shifting out of the bullpen the final week before Isringhausen comes back.
Yeah, and I think you're going to need a alternate closer when Izzy does come back, because he's not going to be available every day. But You know, Jan throws harder than anybody down there. He does have a nasty out pitch, a split finger pitch. He has had more experience closing than anybody else.
2-2 as Klein continues to test Matheny. The two big bats in this lineup, Vernon Wells and Delgado made outs. Tom Wilson pinch hitting for Greg Myers, doubled over the head of Pujols and left. Now it's Orlando Hudson, and it's a 2-2 pitch from Klein. High hop for Roland. Nice work by Klein. A scoreless 7th. That away, Steve. Time to stretch. The Cardinals will send in Roland, Renteria, and Tino Martinez. Up by 3. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with lower fares. By Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles, scooters, and all-terrain vehicles. And by Hardee's. Try Hardee's new Charbroiled Thick Burgers. 1/3, 1/2, and 2-pound burgers made with Angus beef. Albert Pujols and this Cardinal lineup, after getting 11 runs last night, have 8 runs on 11 hits tonight. Pujols a single, a run scored tonight, and another call to the bullpen brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel. Tanyan Sturtz, who we first saw with the Chicago Cubs.
During here for the 17th time. 5-4 record, ERA 5.68, so a lot of decisions. And trailing by 3 runs, his obligation is to hold them right there, get his team back on offense, but they only have 2 shots left.
All right, I'm going to try this name. Congratulations to Mary Benotai, today's merchandise prize winner of the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th. Mary Benotai, B-A-N-O-T-A-I, will qualify for the grand prize drawing of a Hyundai Elantra GT at the end of the season. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer to complete an entry form. First pitch, a strike from Sturtz to Roland. On deck, Renteria, then Martinez. That's foul. Strike 2. And Oquendo can't make that play. Tom Wilson stays in the game. He takes over behind the plate for Greg Myers. One ball, 2 strikes. Comment from Bob and Bethalto, who wonders what the rotation will look like for the Yankee series. I think I know it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On the outside corner, good pitch, 1 out. Tony La Russa, I asked him about this just kiddingly, Al, about 3 weeks ago, and he knew his rotation for the Yankee series.
Oh, sure he does.
And at the time, unless it's changed, I believe it's Williams, Tomko, and Morris.
Trying to make a statement, but you know, it's amazing how they line these rotations up, and you know, with the off day, they skipped Stevenson and put Morris and everybody else in their normal slots. See Matt and Garrett talking to each other.
It may go Morris, Tomko, Williams, but I believe those big 3 will be the weekend pitchers at Yankee Stadium. 1 out, nobody on. 1-0 pitch. On the corners, that's where Tanyan Sturtz is living. Tino Martinez, has had chance of Tino tonight waits on deck.
Well, Matt's going to pitch Sunday against the Orioles, so he should get Friday.
So I think it's that way. Morris, Tomko, and Williams. Again, unless it's changed or unless they've decided to go a different way.
Or they could have Morris, Simontachi, and Woody.
Believe me, Tony La Russa is not going into Yankee Stadium without Morris and Williams pitching.
Well, no, I trust you there.
A 1-2 pitch, Renteria with one out, nobody on.
I think Joe Torre has asked Bob Gibson to come into town for the series. Joe and Bob are very close friends, so maybe Tony can get Gibby to come over and pitch for us too.
Why not? We're in the bottom of the 7th. Cardinals lead 8-5. Hits are even at 11 aside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Renteria. Hard hit. Woodward kicks it, picks it, throws it. 2 out. Tino Martinez now, who is 4 out of 8 with 4 RBIs in this series.
Got his average up to 260 now. Let's keep that going.
Ball 1. Trevor Miller ended up going 1 inning with 2 walks, 1 of them intentional. Lytle, the starter, 5+ innings, 8 runs on 11 hits. 1 ball, 1 strike as that one caught the corner. Martinez grounded out in the 2nd, an RBI base hit in the 3rd, a leadoff triple and a run scored last inning.
He's batting .249 the start of this month.
Up to .260 overall as good play by the usher down the left field side makes it 1-2. That foul ball.
Cubbies lose to Tampa Bay 5-2.
To Hopper, Hudson, Martinez is gone. We go to the 8th. The Cardinals will employ Cal Eldred and maybe a double switch. Still up by 3.
The hot hitter with smooth base running is the Ford Focus with $2,500 cash back or low 0% financing for qualified buyers. Ford in your quality Ford stores, your home run to Cardinals baseball fun. So Taguchi takes over in left field. So that moves Albert Pujols over to first base. And then that frees up Cal Eldred to come into Tino Martinez's spot. Eldred would be the 4th Cardinal pitcher used. He follows Calero Klein out of the bullpen. Simontachi, the pitcher of record. Appearing for the 19th time. He's won 3, lost 1. He has 4 saves and 6 opportunities. And he has a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Talking to Mike Matheny about the presence that Cal Eldred has when he's on the mound. Does not have overpowering stuff, but he's got the look of a guy who believes he can get the guy standing at the plate out.
That's half of it. And Tony La Russa will tell you that he's not afraid, so you can put him out there. And they've added a couple pitches to him. You know, his curveball got him in a lot of trouble earlier. Add him a little tighter breaking ball. He's got a little cutter and developed that split finger.
1 ball, 1 strike. Looked like Bordick was willing to take a strike with his team down by 3 here in the 8th. These two have faced each other plenty of times, and Bordick's 1 out of 14 against Cal Eldred. Pretty good stuff tonight. That ball's jumping out of his hands. 2-1, 92 miles an hour. Bordick, then Woodward, then a pinch hitter. 2-2.
About 6 days since he's thrown, and remember, the bullpen is still a relatively new area for him. So trying to keep himself sharp in between relief appearances. And he's starting to really enjoy this role.
Right down the middle on a fastball, 92 miles an hour, 1 out. Our virtual manager results. Who should be the DH next week in Boston and New York? J.D. Drew, 68% of you.
I think you and I will say we'd rather have J.D. in the field. But times where you maybe save his knee a little bit. Not bad DH.
That's into deep right center field. Edmonds going back on the track. 2 out. Woodward is retired. 2 up, 2 down.
He might have such an efficient inning that they might let him have a two inning outing.
And one thing that would lead you to believe that La Russa would be willing to do that is that he bothered to use a double switch when Eldred came in the game to get his spot out of the way. That and to get Pujols and his arm out of left field and give the Cardinals defense a lift with Taguchi coming into play.
And it also would make sense as Jan pitched last night. Give him, you know, he's really trying to get back into pitching shape. Been with the ball club a little bit around a week. Remember, he hadn't thrown in 13 days prior to coming over from Texas.
2-0 on Dave Berg, the pinch hitter for Sturts, who pitched a perfect 7th inning.
And as soon as we say that, then we see Jeff Facero throwing in the Cardinal bullpen.
One. Facero is getting loose because of Delgado.
For the 9th.
Into right field. Great inning by Eldred. They went down in order. 1, 2, 3. A strikeout, 2 fly ball outs. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Matheny due to lead it off. Up 3. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up but never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. Welcome back to Busch Stadium. Bottom of the 8th inning. Fuji Photo Day is coming up on July 12th, 7:10 against the Padres. Fans with cameras will be allowed on the field between 5 and 6 p.m. There are tickets remaining. Call 314-421-2400 or log on to stlcardinals.com. Those are the professional grade digital cameras. And that guy with his hat turned backward is Chris Lee, one of the best sports photographers in the country. The job he does with the Post-Dispatch is fantastic. Here's Aquilino Lopez taking over, 28th time this season for Toronto. Trying to keep it a 3-run game with Matheny, Perez, and Cairo coming up.
Aquilino asked the manager of the Blue Jays, Carlos Tosca, said, who's the most impressive guy you've got other than, you know, the guys you'd normally think of? And he said Lopez, young Rule 5 draftee they took from Seattle.
Off speed, low, ball 1. One ball, 1 strike. Get an email from Blair Coral, Joplin, Missouri. Blair says that just heard that the head of Sammy Sosa's bat is on eBay and selling for $25,000. A 1-1 to Matheny. 2 balls and a strike. It's amazing where some of these things show up. They sold. You know who had? You know who had Mike Piazza's broken bat that Roger Clemens threw at him in the World Series?
Right. No.
Matheny went. That's strike 2. Keith Olbermann.
And how did he get it?
He was down there working for Fox during the World
Scavenger,
Series.
right? Scavenger.
And got the bat. I don't know how. I don't know how it ended up in his hand. 2-2 pitch. And that caught the catcher Wilson on his throwing hand. And Matheny, the guy who hit it, knows how that feels.
Isn't that like a soldier can't take, you know, souvenir items from the wars?
Could be, but I don't know that Olbermann really participated much in that war.
You see where he had his hand. The reason why a lot of guys put the hand behind the back. He had it resting right there. They are carrying 3 catchers, so. But keeps the hand in front instead of behind him, and that foul ball got a piece of it.
On 2-2, it's full count. We haven't seen a real good fastball from Lopez.
No, it's, you know.
I said off speed on that first pitch was 85, but I haven't seen anything.
No. Maybe they were deking me.
It's been done before. 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball for a strike. 1 out. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. The copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. And Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. As always, our crew has done a terrific job. There's Mark Grifford. And night in, night out, they are the best.
Lopez has held right-handed batters to below 170. He leads all American League rookies, relievers, with 28 appearances and 36 strikeouts. But we haven't seen the good fastball yet.
Eduardo pops it out of play. Off to the right. Cardinals, when they take the field in the 9th inning, will deal with the top of the order, which means Reed Johnson, Frank Catalanato, Vernon Wells. Anybody gets on their big guy Delgado. Eldred is in the game right now, and Pissarro has been warming, so we'll wait and see how Tony La Russa wants to pitch the 9th. Another run or 6 would be nice. The 0-1. That's hard hit. Good play by Bordick to his left. Usually plays short. Made a good play. 2 out. Miguel Cairo's had a nice night. 3 for 4. As you look at Perez and Bordick, more importantly with that pickup to his left. Cairo will stand in at the plate. 3 out of 4, 3 singles, 2 runs scored in the time he was retired. He drove home a run with an RBI groundout. With 2 out, Cairo takes ball 1. With the bases empty, Cairo takes ball 2.
Lopez is 28 years of age, so it's not like he's such a young, hard thrower with bright future.
Three and 0. Watch the feet of Miguel Cairo as he gets ready to hit.
I see a lot of guys move around a lot with their hands and upper body, but not too many move as much with their feet.
Three and 1. On deck is Taguchi, who's batting in the number 2 spot. On 3-1, Cairo hits it into left field. Is it his fourth hit? Almost got over the outstretched glove of Catalinato. As it is, it's a 1-2-3 frame. Ninth inning. Cardinals trying to make it 2 in a row over Toronto. And Eldred goes back to work, up 8-5. It's an 8-5 Cardinal lead. We go to the ninth. For the Blue Jays, it'll be the top of the order. Reed Johnson against Cal Eldred. Catalinato to follow, then Vernon Wells. If anybody should get on, their big cleanup man and the Major League's #1 RBI man, Carlos Delgado, with Facero getting loose in the pen. There's action everywhere, including around baseball where the Cubs have lost. The Astros have won, so the Astros are in a first-place tie in the Central. The Cards, if they win, they'll be a game out behind those two. Strike one.
Good productive day for the Cardinals. They win here. Remember how well the Blue Jays were playing when they came into town. Winners of 9 of their last 11.
They're still hitting, but so are the Cardinals. 1-1 pitch. Good delivery. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Eldred.
Eldred still hits the spots with his fastball, and they'll throw that slider up there. Keeps people off balance.
What does he have for Reed Johnson on 1 and 2?
His slider's really a cutter, so you don't see a lot of break to it, but all it has to do is move a little, and hitters don't get the sweet part of it.
Johnson has a home run tonight, and on a breaking ball, it's hit foul outside third. The Yankees have fallen out of first place in the AL East. It'll be a half game behind Boston. The Red Sox swept a doubleheader at Pittsburgh today. The Yankees lost in Cincinnati 6-2 behind Messina. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Still the count on Reed Johnson. And that's out number 1 as Eldred just threw it by him. Good start to this 9th inning for Cal Eldred. What's coming up on the Midwest Sports Report? Let's go to the studio. Pat Paris.
Next on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, complete post-game coverage. We'll talk with St. Louis native and former Redbird Cliff Polite, plus reaction to Sammy Sosa's cork bat. That's coming up next. Now back to Joe and Al.
Thank you, Pat. We'll be watching Catalinato with 1 out, nobody on. Takes a strike from Cal Eldred.
If you want to stay in this game, you record the next 2 batters. Get your save.
8-5 Cardinals. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-2.
Going out there and attacking, getting ahead in the count.
On 0-2. Off the hands. Good pitch.
That's what you're saying, Joe, is not leaving pitches up over the middle. If it's up, it's going to be in on the hands or out on the outside part of the plate, working up and down, in and out.
One ball, 2 strikes. Every game played around baseball today being played in a National League ballpark. One-two pitch. Catalinato tonight has singled, fly to left, popped up, fly to center. We're hitting .327. This is the danger part of the Blue Jays lineup with Vernon Wells on deck. And Eldred can't put Catalinato away. The Cardinals trying to get back to 3 games over the 500 mark. They win, they'll be 30-27, and they will be over the 500 mark in interleague play history for the franchise. At it right now, 1-2. You can hear Matheny say, "Get over." Eldred does. 2 out. What's funny, Al, and I know we're going to do the play of the game, is while we were checking in with the studio prior to that play, Eldred looked at Albert and said, "Be ready." And I'll be darned if He didn't hit one to Albert. 2 out. We give you the play of the game, brought to you by Bud Light. See, I've got all the time in the world to read this. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. The back-to-back triples by Martinez and Matheny in the 2-run 6th inning for St. Louis.
Well, I'm going to tell them that you said that.
Go right ahead.
I'm going to tell them.
Okay. Vernon Wells with 2 out, nobody on. Crowd comes alive. Wells holds up.
Tino there, a lot more smiles. Swinging the bat the way his manager predicted he would. Just continue it.
1 ball, 1 strike, and been impressive from Eldred because he has been right into the strike zone or just out of it, keeping the ball down since he entered at the start of last inning.
Doing a great job, and still you're going to need that setup man. You're going to need that alternate closer when Izzy does come back.
It would be a 2-inning save if Eldred can get it. And the good thing is, by getting the first 2, Delgado, the guy on deck, can't do anything but make it a close game if he bats. 2-1 to Wells. These are good pitches. 2 and 2.
Well, he's not leaving anything in the middle of the plate. And the way he's pitching, even if Wells got on base, I wouldn't want to see Cal Eldred come out with Delgado coming to the plate. But I'd rather see him retire Wells right now.
On 2 and 2. That's a foul ball by centimeters.
And Matheny just broke Wells' kneecap with a tag.
Matheny wants it as bad for Eldred as Eldred wants it for Eldred.
You better believe it. That's the way he works with pitchers. But remember, Cal Eldred wouldn't be here without Mike Matheny. Little tapper right there. Now watch Mike tags him. Trying to peek the umpire.
Another 2-2 pitch and a pop-up right side. Will it stay in play? Looks like it. Great work, Eldred. 2 in a row over Toronto. 8-5 is the final. Another good night for Tino Martinez and for the Cardinals. Hitting the ball, using that good defense. And we'll be back at it tomorrow night. Cardinals tonight at 6:30. Finale of the set. Woody Williams will try to pitch the Cards to a sweep. For Dan and Al, I'm Joe. Right now, it's the Midwest Sports Report. Let's go to the studio.